speaks for itself now, doesn't it? Ex-Anheuser-Busch executive reveals how lefty investment firms pressure companies to go woke. Woke governance that has sent profits spiraling at companies like Anheuser-Busch and Target often begins with lefty investment firms pressuring them to push products their way, an ex-top Anheuser-Busch exec said. Here's Anson Freerichs describing the insider dynamic.
So how does this actually work? These guys are telling the truth?
Jesse, thanks for having me this morning. I mean, here's how it works. It's pretty simple. You just have to follow the money. If you take a look at BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, they manage $20 trillion worth of capital. But it's not their own money. This is the money of everyday citizens, firefighters, police officers, doctors, who generally have their money either via 401ks or, in a lot of cases, large pension funds. Large pension funds like the state of California, which manages the largest pension fund in the U.S., and the state of New York, and the European pension funds as well. And a lot of the politicians in those states, in California, for example, they recently have mandated those large pension funds that they divest from things like fossil fuels and oil and gas. And then when Bill de Blasio, mayor of New York, did the same thing, but they also tell BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, if they're going to manage their money, they have to commit to things like ESG, diversity, equity, inclusion, and adopt firm-wide commitments that they therefore then force onto all the major companies in corporate America.
And now that right there is literally verbatim exactly what we've been saying. ESG and DEI initiatives are at the core of all of this corporate woke nonsense driving these companies into the ground. They control the investment capital, they control the trillions of dollars, where it's going to end up, where it's going to go, and so companies must follow. It's not an issue of guidance as much as it's actual force, blackmail, intimidation, whatever you want to call it. Again, don't take my word for it. Here's the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink, literally saying it himself.
It's just, you have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team, you're going to be impacted. And that's just not recruiting, it is development, as Ken said.
How do you force change, though? I mean, Larry, BlackRock has really been the forefront of the ESG movement within corporate governance in the real movement. And yet change is so slow. So what is, and Ken as well, how do you force change when it is so incremental and so gradual? How do you do something more radical? Have you thought about that? As the board, more radical things we could do to enhance diversity and inclusion.
Because it has to be imbued in the culture of the firm. It has to be talked about, it has to be shown. Behaviors across the entire firm in every region have to be similar. And every citizen of the firm has to understand what is acceptable behaviors and what are unacceptable behaviors.
Quote, you have to force behaviors. And that is exactly what they do. Recently we covered how Bud Light's equality score on that equality something, I don't know, I forget the name, index, basically a woke activist social credit score for companies, and how some of these major corporations are essentially obsessing over these like kind of leaderboards, prioritizing that instead of, doing the right thing. I don't know, making and generating money, a company's supposed to do. Well, that was small peanuts compared to this. That little social credit score was nothing but an activist creation. This is more real. What you're seeing on the screen here are ESG scores, or ESG ratings. ESG standing for environmental, social, and governance and economic corporate ratings. The whole thing has been muddied. Let's take two individual ESG scores, post them next to each other to try to make this point. The first is Tesla Inc. ESG score, a 37 out of 100, with a social score of 20, and a governance and economic score of 34, environmental 60. And right below that, you have Philip Morris International Inc., a cigarette company, a tobacco company. They make Marlboros. On an environmental score of 87, higher than Tesla. A social score of 84, higher than Tesla. A governance and economic score of 83, much higher than Tesla. So Tesla is trying to electrify our world, move away from our dependence on fossil fuels, trying to make the world a better place, but they have a worse environmental and social score than a tobacco company that's using chemicals and pesticides, polluting the earth and polluting water supplies, not to mention all the fossil fuels that goes into growing the crop in the first place. Then they're selling a product that's not just pure tobacco, but has all kinds of additives and disgusting stuff, totally carcinogenic. It's killing people, and they have a higher social score than Tesla. You can't make this stuff up. It's totally political. It's simply a phony virtue score, a social credit score that's used to control these corporations to do their bidding. Do as we say, follow our lead, implement all of our programs, or your ESG score will drop into the ground. Maybe if your score goes too low, all the dollars that we've been injecting into your corporation might just simply dry up. It's hard to tell what the motive is. You know, these investment firms supposedly are there to make money. The companies themselves, obviously, you'd expect that they want to continue to show growth and increased profits. But it seems like there's some sort of ulterior motive, there's some outside agenda that takes precedence over profit in many of these cases. It's almost like a couple of these companies are sacrificial lambs that these leftist investment firms are willing to sacrifice to the greater good of their social movement. I don't know about you guys, but when I hear stuff like forcing behaviors, social movements being enforced by major corporations, call me a crazy kook, a crazy conservative conspiracy theorist, a massive red flag immediately pops up in my mind. I don't care what it is, I simply don't trust it. It's all the more reason why a message needs to be sent not just to Bud Light and not just to Target, but to the whole corporate sector. Your nonsense woke ideology will not be forced on me. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, you know that we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you on the next one.
Watch out, Guardian. You've got incoming.
Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, here we are back to the famous Brian Stelter discussion. You might be confused as to what I mean by that. Remember this infamous moment with Barry Weiss?
You're right. There are tens of millions of Americans who aren't on the hard left or the hard right who feel the world has gone mad. So in what ways has the world gone mad?
When you're not able to say out loud and in public that there are differences between men and women, the world has gone mad.
You say we're not allowed to talk about these things, but they're all over the internet. I can Google them, I can find them everywhere. I've heard about every story you mentioned. So I'm just suggesting, of course, people are allowed to cover whatever they want to cover.
But you and I both know, and it would be delusional to claim otherwise, that touching your finger to an increasing number of subjects that have been deemed third rail by the mainstream institutions and increasingly by some of the tech companies will lead to reputational damage, perhaps you losing your job, your children sometimes being demonized as well. And so what happens is a kind of internal self-censorship. This is something that I saw over and over again when I was at the New York Times.
What do you mean that you're not allowed to say things? You can say whatever you want, legally. What is this leftist fascism you speak of? It may not be a legal force, but it certainly is a cultural and corporate force that is deeply in force. The woke cultural hegemony, ruling all the HR, PR, and marketing departments, enforcing extremely stringent rules on what can and can't be said. You say the wrong thing, you voice the wrong opinion, and the whole system comes for you. The leftist fascist mafia is at it again in the sports world as a small group of MLB players simply voice their benign opinions, and of course the woke mafia earthquake immediately follows. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so here's the first story from the New York Post. Former Mets pitcher Trevor Williams is deeply troubled by Dodgers pride night reversal. Another pitcher has joined the ranks of those upset about the Dodgers handling of their pride night. Nationals right-hander, former Met Trevor Williams, voiced his displeasure of the Dodgers' re-invitation to the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, a queer and trans group that uses religious imagery in Catholicism to call attention to sexual intolerance. The group was initially invited, uninvited, and then re-invited by the Dodgers to their LGBTQ+ event. Williams took to Twitter, where he wrote that he was deeply troubled by Los Angeles' decision to honor the group. The hurler slammed the group because of how it treated the Catholic faith. As a devout Catholic, I am deeply troubled by the Dodgers' decision to re-invite and honor this group, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. At their Pride Night this year, Williams said, "A Major League Baseball game is a place where people from all walks of life should feel welcome, something I greatly respect and support. This is the purpose of different theme nights hosted by the organization, including Pride Night. To invite and honor a group that makes blatant and deeply offensive mockery of my religion, and the religion of over 4 million people in Los Angeles County alone, undermines the values of respect and inclusivity that should be upheld by any organization. Creating an environment in which one group feels celebrated and honored at the expense of another is counterproductive and wrong. It is a clear violation of the Dodgers' discrimination policy, which explicitly states that any conduct or attire at the ballpark that is deemed to be indecent or prejudice against any particular group or religion is not tolerated. It seems that the Dodgers have made an exception in this case, doubling down that this group, which grossly disrespects and openly mocks many of the traditions and beliefs that Catholics hold most dear, should be celebrated. I believe it is essential for the Dodgers to reconsider their association with this group and strive to create an inclusive environment that does not demean or disrespect the religious beliefs of any fan or employee. I also encourage my fellow Catholics to reconsider their support of any organization that allows this type of mockery of its fans to occur. I know I am not alone in my frustration, hurt, and disappointment about this situation. As Catholics, we look to Jesus Christ and the way that he was treated, and we realize that any suffering in this world unites us to him in the next." That's the statement. That's the statement that has leftoids throwing an absolute temper tantrum to have this man's career canceled. It's all completely ridiculous. The supposed Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, in my opinion, are a hate group. Maybe some people aren't willing to go that far, but you cannot deny the fact that their entire, marketing angle, their image and their notoriety comes from mocking people of the Catholic faith. Once again, let's reverse the roles. Could you imagine it was switched and it was a Catholic group whose entire image was making fun of the LGBTQXYZ3325 group? Imagine the outrage. Imagine if it was a group whose entire image was making fun of the Jewish faith or the Muslim faith. One is allowed, the other is not. Making fun of white Catholics, white Christians is totally acceptable. In fact, it's celebrated, even to the extent that those groups are going to be invited to public events at major sporting venues. Make it make sense, please. Not to mention the adult content. I'd love to show you some clips of public events from the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, but I can't, not only because they're hateful, but due to the fact that most of the clips that I can find online are extremely sexual in nature, very provocative. Once again, that's the type of group that's going to be celebrated at a public sports venue with tons of kids in the audience. It's completely outrageous, but you're not allowed to voice your concerns. You're not allowed to say anything about it, or the mob is going to come after you. So far, from my understanding, Trevor Williams has yet to apologize for his statement, and he shouldn't. But just north in the socialist fascist land known as Canada, a similar situation playing out a little bit differently. Toronto Blue Jays player Anthony Bass is being criticized by all the wokies and the woke media for sharing a video on Instagram calling for Catholics to boycott Bud Light and Target. Here's this clown, you're gonna remember his face, from the NHL Pride jersey situation a couple months ago.
But as Tammy's been reporting all morning, Jays relief pitcher Anthony Bass yesterday said he was truly sorry after sharing a controversial anti-LGBTQ2S+ video on Instagram over the last 48 to 72 hours. Bass shared a video Monday from an account that instructs Christians to boycott Target and Bud Light due to the brands supporting LGBTQ2S+ rights.
And while Toronto Blue Jays player Anthony Bass took so much heat that he ended up making this statement to the media.
I recognized yesterday, I made a post of the circle to the Platinum community, which includes friends of mine, close family members of mine, and I am truly sorry for that. I just spoke with my teammates, shared with them my actions yesterday, and I apologize with them. But as of right now, I'm using the Blue Jays resources to better educate myself, to make better decisions moving forward. The ballpark is for everybody. We include all fans at the ballpark. We want to welcome everybody. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Completely cringe. The guy looks like a prisoner. When I watched that video, the first thing that came to mind was this.
叫什么名？那知不知道为什么他过来了？怎么事过了？那怎么事的情况什么时候？头天什么时候？疫情咋的？你是五群吗？怎么讲的？你外面是什么东西？追风路滑呗。所以大伙怎么在网上讨论一个很长的标准啊？讨论标准扣摩测是吗？你觉得扣摩测不对吗？对。当时怎么回事？当时为什么讲马警察话？就是在群里就是开玩笑呗。咱这话是不是定性的？妈那话是定性的吗？是。妈那话不是定性的。那现在你想对警察讲点什么吗？跟他说对不起，我错了。
In chains, whether physical or metaphorical, being forced to apologize for his opinions by authoritarian intimidation. You should not have to apologize for your opinion, especially not when your opinion is probably shared by the majority of the population, and you're being forced and coerced to take back your statement by an authoritarian mob. He did and said nothing wrong. The Toronto media clown from earlier painted this situation as if he was attacking the LGBT community for simply existing. People are calling boycott Target and Bud Light simply for participating in Pride. No, that is not the case. Clearly, these leftoids do it on purpose to misinform the public, create a binary dynamic. There's pro-LGBT and there's anti-LGBT. It has nothing to do with that. It's not that simple. Clearly, the issue is the targeting of children with inappropriate adult sexual topics. That's the issue with Target. That's also the issue with Bud Light, considering the TikTok campaign. And Bud Light's VP of marketing claiming the company was taking that marketing angle to, quote, get to the younger generation. And it's the same thing with the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence with a little splash of, I don't know, they're a hate group targeting a religion. And so I'm going back to the point from earlier. Stop apologizing. If you actually do something wrong, you operate a vehicle inebriated, you get a DUI, apologize to the community, you did something wrong, that's an actual serious issue. If you're simply voicing your opinion, taking issue with the promotion of hate towards a particular religion, or your view is that children should be protected from adult topics, why on earth would you apologize? Don't do it. Stop doing it. You're right and the people support you. Let the MLB find you, suspend you. The MLB is gonna go broke so frickin' fast it's not even funny. Stop caving to the demands of an authoritarian, pitchfork-wielding woke mob. They're simply a loud minority. Look at what happened with those hockey players in the NHL who stood their ground. They were supported and defended not only by conservatives, but by regular common sense folk who have the ability to look beyond partisan political lenses. The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence should not be present at these events. You want to do Pride Night? Knock yourself out. I just don't get why it can't be a basic, appropriate celebration, why it can't be something respectful and classy. Instead, it has to be a hateful presentation or the celebration of these constant, lewd, totally inappropriate events. People in high heels, shaking their private parts, barely wearing any clothes, and dog masks and leashes. You're not a crazy person or a bigot for having an issue with that kind of imagery being put in front of children. It's simply wrong. Stop apologizing to the woke mafia. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Of course, we'd love to have you here. Thanks for watching, folks. See you on the next one.
Crawling with Hive and Taken. Let's head down and dodge some of this heat.
Glad to have you back in our ranks, Deputy.
I wouldn't have kept you waiting, sir, but that darn Golden Age suit crapped out on me.
I suppose you can't be blamed for malfunctioning equipment. Apology accepted.
Right. Next time I get unexisted, I'll shake it off quicker.
I'll remember you said that.
Okay, partner. Get drilling while I get loud and make a diversion for you.
showing low fuel. They found you. Guardian, the hall is secure and you are cleared to fight your way out.
Coup design. Bound by war, conquered from trickery, I invoke your death! Coup design. Bound by war, conquered from trickery, I invoke your death!
Our mission over the next few videos is to demonstrate why certain individuals that are currently attempting to claim ancient ruins we so often share on our channel, where the work of academia's claimed constructors, are not only vastly incorrect, but that they are also being selectively ignorant. We intend to demonstrate the reasons why this explanation as to their origins is a virtual impossibility, and also prove the level of advanced knowledge needed to construct them evades even our modern civilization. Roman and Greek civilizations undoubtedly contributed tremendous amounts to modern life, be it their technologies or building techniques, architectural designs and ideas incorporated into structures that have survived millennia. However, there are many anomalous aspects of their academically claimed ruins that not only demonstrate unbelievable skill and precision, but are so advanced as to evade our own current understanding. One of these defining characteristics is undoubtedly polygonal masonry. Randomly shaped or possibly cast stones, with some, for example, found within Sacsayhuaman, reaching far into hundreds of tons, masterfully fitted together, constructed into walls and fortresses, with no utilization of mortars. These often enormous megalithic blocks, somehow placed together so perfectly that not only have they survived countless millennia, but are also earthquake-proof. These stone walls are a demonstration of what can be achieved if one had an astonishing intellect, and indeed stone-building capabilities. These walls simply evade modern human explanation. No modern, or indeed any of the well-studied ancient civilizations, have ever demonstrated anything even near to the levels of refinement exhibited within these ancient walls, found all over the globe, yet ignored by academics the world over. How can certain individuals claim that academia's tale of events be accurate, yet seemingly overlook such astonishing feats of ancient engineering? How can one be expected to believe that the cultures currently claimed as having been responsible for such constructions did indeed complete such tasks, when they are, in reality, too advanced an undertaking even for our own modern civilization? As such, continuing to evade explanation. We feel that many of these individuals are merely towing a line rather than attempting to unravel that which they perceive as enigmatic and considerably controversial to their current supposed viewpoint. We feel there is no excuse for a diligent researcher to overlook these achievements when investigating such sites, or indeed attempting to unravel the secrets of our past. We also feel that if one attempts to explain away such sites, or merely overlook such features in favor of academic explanation, it is an indication of conspiratorial motives rather than that of an honest purveyor of discoveries. There are many unexplained features of the ancient world, many of which we intend to share over the coming videos. And if one merely wishes to convey an illusion of all-knowing, they are soon to become unstuck, just like the academia they so mindlessly follow, and we so vehemently disagree with. Due to these deliberate twisting of the facts, they are undoubtedly highly compelling. The Necromantion, once used as a Greek temple of necromancy, devoted by the Greeks to their god of the underworld Hades and his female consort Persephone. This site was believed by the Greek devotees to be the door of Hades, allowing entry to the realm of the dead. Located at the meeting point of the Acheron, Pyriphlegethon, and Cocytus rivers, which were believed to have also flowed through the kingdom of Hades. With names given to the rivers, presumably by the Greeks, interpreted to be joyless, burning coals, and lament. Whilst other temples, such as the Temple of Poseidon at Taneiron, the temples at Hermione and Cumae in Italy, and Heraclea within Pontos, were known to have been used for the practice of necromancy. It was the Necromantion that was the most famous of them all. According to ancient Greek beliefs, while the bodies of the dead decayed in the earth, their souls would be released, traveling to this purported underworld via fissures within the earth. These spirits of the dead, according to the ancient Greeks, were said to possess abilities that the living did not have, including the power of precognition, the power to foretell the future. They therefore claim that these temples were erected by them in locations that were entrances to this mysterious underworld, used as altars for the believers of such to practice necromancy, a belief form of communication with the dead. This practice was attempted in order to receive prophecy. However, if one explores the architecture of such site, not only does this ancient Greek claim of construction become a clear, dubiously attested claim, but the evidence for highly advanced precision block building, now known as polygonal masonry, is discovered throughout the site. This existence of such sophisticated block building, which is not only found within and upon nearly every as yet unexplained ancient site upon the Earth, but is incredibly similar in form to that of many other ancient sites within Italy, specifically the ancient wall which can still be found surrounding the Acropolis of Alatri and at other sites, including within the ancient ruins of Delphi. This astonishing feat of ancient engineering is as yet unexplained by modern academics, strongly indicating that this ancient site was originally built by a civilization now lost to history. Furthermore, like the enigmatic metal clamps, whose remnants are to be found within a number of these same ancient sites that were originally used by this highly intelligent group, these once utilized to keep the stones in their fitted positions as they shifted and settled over the millennia. These clamps' design vary from continent to continent. Our reason for mentioning this curiosity is that although the sophisticated methods of creating these ruins often remain similar or the same, depending upon the continent they are found, is dependent on the style and material these methods are made from. This, to us, strongly suggests that these ancient structures may have indeed been built by the different races found within these differing countries. The commanding force, the leading power of these groups, was the same worldwide power and font of this knowledge, who, with their clearly incredible technological prowess, successfully created such structures, and indeed the Necromantion, which, regardless of their tremendous age, has successfully survived a vast amount of millennia, successfully making it into our own modern ancestors' lives, predictably adapted due to their wondrous nature into their historical belief systems, often being adopted surrounding spirituality, either for theistic worship, burial, or in the case of the Necromantion, for the use of contacting the dead through the mystic teachings of necromancy. It is, undoubtedly, highly compelling. Recently, we posted a photograph of a rather perplexing megalithic ruin, now known as the White Rock of Vilcabamba, or Nuestra Hispana, shared within a community post on the channel's main page. The image predictably caused a lot of bafflement within our community. Thusly, we took it upon ourselves to dig a little deeper into what the true purpose of this monument could have once been. What we found not only answered this question, but has seemingly unraveled the original purpose of countless stone anomalies, and possibly answered one of the most critical issues of all. How were these megalithic walls of seemingly impossible, randomly cut polygonal masonry once constructed? There are countless finished sites of not only polygonal stonework, but simple yet incredible stable brick-forced blocks, some far exceeding 1,000 tons. Thus, it is not absurd to presume, like the trilithon, they were still cut, quarried, moved, and lifted into place, somehow with incredible precision. How these blocks interlink was another mystery, which we feel Nuestra Hispana and now many other sites, and their enigmatic abandoned blocks, often seemingly being mistaken for chairs, are the answer for how these polygonal walls were built, a secret hidden in plain sight for all these years, with Nuestra Hispana of Vilcabamba strangely seemingly unlocking this secret for us. All around the megalith lay finished stones ready for transportation, while the odd patterning still found upon the original bedrock are interlocking joints, which we have seen in a number of other locations and near polygonal areas themselves. Yet the Nusta Hispana megaliths cuts along with that of the now broken Nalpa Iglesia found near Ollantaytambo share the same unfinished carvings and once enigmatic protuberances, seemingly abandoned suddenly, just like that of Nusta Hispana. Yet, thankfully, the carving patterns are indicative of so many other ruins we have found on location. It is seemingly unraveling the mystery and answering the question of what these mysterious cuts were for and what resulted from them. These seemingly random-shaped blocks were anything but. They were cut from their bedrock quarries, not only with incredible accuracy, but with unbelievable future insight, always taking into consideration the interlocking mechanism of every block that would later become the seemingly unbroken, impenetrable form of the world's polygonal constructions. Like that of the stone of the pregnant woman found within Baalbek, claimed as abandoned, firstly as it weighed over 1,000 tons and due to a slight incline, yet mere meters away the trilithon, which lay aloft with blocks placed atop others, each weighing thousands of tons. When excavated, the stone of the pregnant woman is just another gargantuan structural ruin. Blocks mistaken by tourists and natives alike for millennia as mere chairs were anything but. They were precision-made stones, walls designed to last through eons, possibly to leave a message to following generations, or possibly it is just a demonstration of these lost civilizations' past capabilities when it came to an advanced Stone Age. It is an ongoing mystery and answers to questions we have searched for years, which we find the most accurately fitting to date and thus highly compelling.
Glad to have you back in our ranks, Deputy.
Osaka Castle, one of the most important historical structures in Japan, having played a defining role in unifying Japan during the 16th century. It is a structure whose enigmatic characteristics we have covered in the past. The main tower of Osaka Castle, situated on a plot of land roughly 1 square kilometer in diameter, is built atop 2 raised platforms, supported by sheer walls of cut rock created using a technique called burdock piling. With some of these wall faces also containing compelling precision ancient stonework, a feature we initially focused on in our previous video. However, there also exists other intriguing anomalies within the grounds of the castle, a series of stoneworks of gigantic proportions. Enormous walls, which many of you may not be aware of, rarely shared by academia. These sections were created with polygonal masonry techniques, a method of advanced block building unexplained, subsequently lost to the eons. Due to their unexplained nature, these hidden features, we believe, are clear evidence of an original structure, far outdating the modern castle and indeed attested historical accounts. Yet what is undoubtedly the most striking characteristic of these surviving barriers is their size. Many of the surviving blocks, each of a unique shape, were once masterfully placed, seemingly effortlessly atop one another with incredible precision, stones stretching far into the hundreds of tons. This astonishing feat of ancient engineering, utilizing blocks of gargantuan sizes, is also present at many other ancient sites throughout the world. It is not only indicative of a lost, advanced, highly capable civilization, but the question as to how they managed to cut, move, and eventually place such enormous weighted stones with such precision remains a baffling mystery yet to be unraveled. Furthermore, there not only exists astonishingly huge polygonal masonry within the grounds, but there also still exists mysterious carved stones in and around the grounds of Osaka Castle. perplexing megalithic stones, unquestionably carved for a past purpose, which possibly, due to their immense size, are the sole surviving remnants of other ancient features, now nearly all but eroded away. As such, their past function is now unknown. Yet, regardless of these unanswered questions, we maintain a hypothesis that, like the many other astonishing ancient ruins found on differing continents, for example, Baalbek, the Great Pyramids, Sacsayhuaman, Qumran, etc., that due to these sites' characteristics, specifically the immense size of the stonework involved in their original construction, and thus their once impenetrable nature, were utilized by a later civilization, and Osaka Castle being no exception, built upon a foundation far older than modern academia would ever willingly admit to. The fact that no modern explanation exists pertaining to how these gigantic megaliths came to be placed where they are found today, in addition to an absent understanding or explanation as to how polygonal masonry was completed, especially with such enormous quarried stones, we feel is strong evidence to support our posit that the foundations of these ancient structures are far older than their current dating. Foundations which were almost definitely the work of a past highly capable civilization, responsible for all the other, as yet unexplainable ancient wonders found around the globe. The question is, who were these ancient builders? How did they move such massive stones? Did they utilize technologies reminiscent of modern-day lifting equipment? Were all of these ancient structures built by the same governing force, with the slight variations present from location to location, only as a result of the different cultures who were responsible for the actual undertaking? Was this knowledge of highly advanced ancient building techniques shared worldwide? If this is the case, it is a strong indicator that most of what academia continues to peddle as a complete timeline of man is vastly inaccurate and missing vast chapters of past development. Where did this highly advanced group go? Why are there so many quarries and indeed unfinished ancient megaliths found all over the world, spanning as far as the notoriously remote island of Easter, all seemingly abandoned abruptly? Did this civilization fall victim to cataclysm? Or perhaps their fate was far more transcendental? Regardless of these unanswered questions regarding their final destination, we feel Osaka Castle is undoubtedly yet another example of extraordinary ancient feats of prehistoric engineering by a group we are yet to fully understand, and as such is undoubtedly highly compelling.
Almost like we planned it, Guardian. Let's sink a little more and do it again. Egregore samples accounted for. Guardian, we're clear to engage their commander.
Kudazan, bound by war, conquered from trickery, I invoke your death!
You're done, fire team. All objectives secure and all targets eliminated. Establishing transmit relay.
You've got a good team on this, sir. Even the Drifter.
I agree. You can rely on any one of them to see this through. Even the Drifter.